Alrighty, gang. It is the moment you guys have probably been waiting for because I've been talking about this for a little while. It is time for us to talk about the MoYu AuChung V7 or V6. V7 is the 4x4. It gets very confusing when you have all of these MoYu cubes. Anyways, it is time for us to talk about the AuChuang V6 here. This puzzle, it's an interesting puzzle. I have some feelings about this puzzle that I'm excited to talk to you about. Before we talk about the feelings that I have for this puzzle and what I think about this puzzle, please consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. I appreciate it very much, and I enjoy interacting with you guys and making tons of videos for you guys. I have some fun things planned for the future here. So, if that interests you, please click that button. But let's get into the 5x5 review. So, this is MoYu's new flagship 5x5. Comes in 3 versions. You have the single, double, and the triple track. I have the triple track. I pretty much have just always gone for the triple track because why not? But anyways, we're gonna talk about this cube. As you can see, turning on this puzzle, pretty good, and it's pretty good with all the layers too. The outer layers move a little bit easier than the inner layers. I like that. The size is pretty good. This also follows the same pattern as the 4x4, where the outer layers are a little bit bigger than the inner pieces, which is nice. And the size is very comfortable, very comparable to our friend the Hong here. It's actually like 0.5 millimeter smaller than the Hong 5x5. So very small, very compact 5x5. And so that is pretty cool. I took this 5x5 to the All-One Empire State competition there, and I performed quite well in 5x5. I got, for my first comp, I had a 113 single in competition. That was pretty cool. I think I had a sub 120 average for the first round. So I was pretty happy with my performance there, and I think this cube definitely helped. But I actually do have some complaints about this cube, believe it or not. As good as I think this puzzle is, one thing that I don't like about this puzzle is it seems that this puzzle is eating lube for breakfast. I mean, it doesn't matter how much I put in, how often I put it in, it always feels like the lube is just gone. And so that sucks, because when the lube starts to break down or disappear, it starts to get feel a little clunky. You can, it feels like there's a lot of friction, which, that's what lube is supposed to prevent. And so that is something that I'm not a very big fan of. And I feel like there's something going on there where it's eating lube for breakfast, and so that's a little less cool. But other than that, this puzzle is pretty phenomenal for a 5x5. I mean, 3x3 stage is amazing. Everything turns really well. I really enjoyed this puzzle. And I would like to bring out the Hong and the Gan as well, and kind of just do a bit of a comparison and talk about, how I feel about this one when you're comparing it to the other two, and some of the differences and pluses and minuses that they might have compared to each other, and go from there. Now, I'm probably not going to do any solves, because you can go to my other 5x5 video to see me do solves on these ones, and you can go to my competition solves that I recently uploaded to see solves with this cube. I think there's actually like 10 solves with the AuChuang here, so plenty of examples there. I don't want to bog down the video with those, but I do want to talk about them, because a lot of people have talked about the AuChuang here being kind of a mix between the Gan and the Hong. And I think I would generally have to agree with that opinion and assumption here, because it's got a nice compact size, and that is very reminiscent of the Hong. And then we have the Gan here, which has that very fast tactile and fluid turning, which I think we can also apply to the AuChuang here. So I would say it generally is a mix of the two. And that's a good thing. I think it takes some of the better parts of both of these puzzles and shoves them into one cube. And that is super cool. And then it does bring a little bit to the table on its own, which is awesome. So this is the triple track version. So this is all tricked out, UV coded. It's got all the magnets that it can have. I will put a link in the description to all 3 versions of this puzzle. But yeah, so when you compare these two, there's a thing that's conflicting me a tad, though. I don't think I would like to use the Hong as my main, because I feel like it's a tad slow, even lubed up and tensioned to my liking. It feels sluggish, and I feel like I have to really force the turn. Where when we're using the GAN, which I like, it's very fast, very fluid, but it's a little bit bigger. And then we have the MoYu. And the reason that I don't know if I want to use the MoYu as my main is because the way it eats lube, not a very big fan of that. And believe it or not, this cube has a very annoying system here. So if you pull out the centerpiece, this is the center cap. It's you take out the entire piece and the access is there, but you know, that's a bit annoying. So the center stock doesn't come up all the way, and you can actually kind of feel that sometimes. And you know, it's part of the design. It's supposed to be better, it's supposed to be more fluid. And you know, in some cases, sure, I can see that, but I don't like how it feels. If you push down on the cap sometimes like this, you can move them and they click, and you can feel that. And I don't like it, and I feel like maybe occasionally I might feel a catch in the middle layer because of that. And I'm not the hugest fan of that, whereas you don't get that feeling on the GAN. I feel like on the GAN I can do some smoother centers because I don't feel like, you know, there's any catching from the middle piece. That being said, I don't know if the catching on the middle piece is definitely enough to totally discount this cube compared to the GAN, but I must say I did see a significantly large portion of people still using the GAN over this puzzle, and I actually talked to some people at the competition, and you know, some people were like, well, I just didn't want to buy another $60 5x5 after getting the GAN. Totally fair. And some people were like, I like the GAN better, and that's also totally fair. I think that there's a good argument to say that the GAN 5x5 is still better than the MoYu AuChung V6 here. Now, that being said, the AuChuang has a lot of really good things about it. And so I personally am actually having a very hard time deciding which one of these two 5x5s I want to make my main. Because in my last 5x5 comparison video, this was the 5x5. And now I'm sitting and looking at both of these, and I'm like, which one is the 5x5? And the answer is not clear because of that. So I'm actually interested to hear what you guys think about this. But again, this puzzle is a very good 5x5. You won't be upset that you got it. You will very much enjoy solving on it, and you will probably get some decent times on this bad boy. It's still a good puzzle, but if you already have the GAN, I don't know if it's worth it to also buy this, because the GAN is also very good, and in some cases I think maybe a little bit better. The only thing I can say about this that it has over the GAN is that its 3x3 stage is nicer because of the compact size and the magnet strength, whereas the GAN, I think the 3x3 stage is probably the least stable stage on this puzzle, but I don't think it's so unstable that it completely is knocked out of the water by this AuChuang 5x5. So I have to give them a tie, and although that's not necessarily what you want, I'm sure everybody wants to know, like, which one do I think is the best 5x5, and I think they're a tie, and I think that you might see me switch back to the GAN for the next competition. I'm not really sure yet what I want to do. Like I said, I'm very conflicted by this. And that being said, I think, you know, each puzzle and has something for everybody. And I think this cube, which is what the video is about, I think for this puzzle, I think if you already have the GAN, it may not be worth it to buy this. Or if you do, maybe just get the single or the double and not the triple track version. But if you are looking for a smaller, compact 5x5 that really kind of just combines both the feel and the size of these, this is definitely the 5x5 that's going to do it. It's still a very good release by MoYu. It's definitely better than the WRM by a long shot. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a few top solvers use it. But like I said, I think it's going to become a matter of preference. I think these two 5x5s are going to be what dominates the market for quite a while. And so yeah. those are my thoughts on the AuChuang V6 here. Is very good 5x5. Definitely better than MoYu's last 5x5. But I think it's on par with the GAN in one way or another. That being said, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you